Hi friends, this is Swetha. So welcome back to my channel Swetha CVENV and happy Independence Day to all. And okay, then we have already studied regarding SWM first chapter and second chapter. So this is third chapter. So let's start the SWM. Third chapter includes the treatment and composting methods, and I have classified this in terms of 4 topics. Okay, mainly the refuse we are going to discuss, and then the composting methods followed, and Bangalore indoor method of composting, mechanical and vermicomposting. Okay, so basically in case of refuse we have to learn the definition, its various methods. Okay, definition represents the waste only, that is, refuse is nothing but the waste which is thrown into a dustbin as unwanted. Okay, it also deals with the processing, recovery, reuse and recycle, and mechanical and chemical volume reduction, mechanical size reduction, component separation. So we'll discuss all these topics further. In processing unit, what is going to happen? Whatever the waste is going to be collected, it will be sent to this processing unit. Here they are going to segregate the waste which is usable and which is not usable. Okay, whichever is usable, it will be sent for the recovery thing or in terms of reusable unit. Okay, after it is getting treated, it will be recycled, or in case of some of the waste after getting treated, whatever fertilizer they get, it will be sent to the farmers as a manure. Okay, or a fertilizer, we can say. So recovery facility unit plays an important role here. Why? Because here whatever the waste is going to be treated, it will be utilized for fertilizer thing, or either in case of generation of energy or electricity. Okay, so these are the usual process undergoes. Like whatever waste is going to be collected, it will be either segregated in terms of usable and non-usable, will be sent to the usable thing, then recycle, then recovery. So here we can consider a best example. What is this best example we can consider is the paper or the cardboard industry. Okay, as per the flow chart, you people can get to know that here basically the mixed paper and cardboard is going to travel to the receiving area through collection vehicle. Then from receiving area, it will be sent to the processing area through front end loader, which is used to spread the waste. So from front end loader, what is going to happen? It is going to pick the paper waste or mixed paper and cardboard waste, and it is going to separate the bulky items, and smaller items will be sent further. And even in processing area, as I said, it will be undergoing segregation process, where they will do pre-sorting, that is nothing but whether any contaminants are there, it will be removed off, only usable things will be kept inside it, and then it will be sent for manual sorting with the help of this front end loader or the conveyor belts. In case of manual sorting line, here the laborers will be in charge. I'm sorry for that. And here the laborers will be in charge, and they are going to separate the mixed papers separately, and newsprint separately, and even cardboard separately. And they also have their own storage systems respective of mixed paper, newsprint and cardboard. Okay, later on they all will be sent for the baler, where it cuts the things, okay, into smaller divisions. Okay, through forklift it will be sent to the indoor storage of baled paper. Okay, everything will be cut into pieces, and then it will be sent for another indoor storage. Through forklift it will be again sent for shipping. And whatever contaminants though we got in the processing area or in terms of manual sorting also, all these contaminants mixed together will be sent for the disposal site. where it undergoes decomposition. So this is a pictorial representation. Here we can see the two laborers. They are collecting the cardboards. They are moving to the graded thing where it gets cutted into pieces. That is called as baling. See, you can see the things like it is cutted into pieces. Then it is sent to the processing unit, to storage unit, and then back to the vial. That is same. It will be further utilized as a postcard or dustbin type preparation, or in terms of newspaper printing, whatever it is, it will be recycled. And in case of recycling process also, they have mentioned this, that whatever the waste which is going to come under this recycling unit, they are going to select whether it is recyclable or not. If it is recyclable, in what ways it can be utilized, or what treatment can be further utilized. For example, some of the waste gets incinerated. Okay, directly it will be burnt, so that whatever the heat is generated, it will be utilized for electricity generation. And some of the waste are in such a way that they get easily decomposed, hence it will be sent for a landfill burial. And whatever ashes we are gonna get, okay, and whatever the gases are there, so these all will be converted in terms of heat generation. And we can say that electricity generation can be helpful for that particular thing. I mean to say this what landfill burial, whatever we get, whatever the ashes we obtain, it will be used as a sidewalk blocks. That is sidewalk payments and all. In preparation of payments and all, they add this ashes as a admixture type to the concrete blocks. And main things are this one, why we need to go for all this kind of processing unit, recovery unit, recycle unit, reusable things. Why we have to maintain this cycle? Because so as we know that due to urbanization and all, the industrialization and all, since the waste generation is more nowadays, so we have to reduce it completely. Okay, otherwise it causes a nuisance, health disorders and environment issues. So for that particular reason, what we have to do is we have to find new inventions, so that we can reduce the volume of the waste, and in turn we can help for the next day filling. Okay, so in case of mechanical volume reduction takes place with the help of mechanical compactors on the site of disposal, or we can say, or the place where all the waste are going to be dumped in or collected in. There the mechanical compactors are used, so that it reduces its size, so that the other fresh materials can be placed on it, and again it can be compressed, and it can be if there is a huge quantity of waste generation, then they can go for this unit. In case of chemical volume reduction, either through incineration, direct dumping all kind of the waste into the incinerators in batch wise, and burning it and collecting its ashes, and sending the gas materials for heat generation and all. And mechanical size reduction, it is done with the help of shredders. These paper industries, cardboard industries, they use it. In case of shredders, whatever the papers or the cardboards we sent in a row, it will be cutted into slices, we can say. Okay, what about the component separation? It is done either by manually or by mechanically. So the machines will be set up in such a manner that they pick the things. Okay, if it is a usable thing, then it will be sending to the recovery facilities. If not, it will be directly sent to the disposal site. The same thing the laborers used to do in prior, before this mechanical is an advanced method. In prior things and all, the manual picking used to be taking place, right? Here where at the disposal site only, the people used to go and this thing, they used to see whichever is reusable, they used to collect it, and whichever is not, they used to dump it off. So nowadays the technology has improved, so nowadays they are adopting the mechanical instruments. So let us see this is the compactors, okay, used on the live site where the waste is going to be crushed or compacted, okay, to reduce its volume. See how much the volume is reduced. It was of this height, see, people can see it has reduced to max. These are the shredders, where whenever the paper is inserted in, it gets slided, it gets into slices. It is an incineration, where all the waste are placed into it and it gets burnt or ignited. Okay, It produces byproducts like ashes and all. And secondly, we'll study regarding the composting methods. In case of these composting methods, let us start. What do you exactly mean by a composting? Composting is nothing but the degradation of the organic matter, okay, which later be an byproduct called as either humus or biogas as a manure it plays role, which can be further utilized as a fertilizer for the soil. So the basic thing is nothing but the process of organic matter, the process in which the organic matter of the solid waste gets decomposed and it will be converted in terms of humus and mineral compounds, and it will be further utilized as a fertilizer for the soil. What is this compost then? Whatever the end product we get from composting, like humus, which is used as a fertilizer, is known as compost. Okay, that's what they say. A mixture of decayed or decaying organic matter which is used for fertilizer in terms of soil is compost. And composting is nothing but the biological decomposition of whatever that organic matter of solid waste is there, okay, in stable form, either in terms of aerobic conditions or in case of anaerobic, whatever we're going to get is in terms of helping the agriculture. Okay, so it usually classifies in terms of aerobic and anaerobic, since we know that aerobic represents in the presence of oxygen and anaerobic represents the absence of oxygen or in the presence of little oxygen. Okay, and here in aerobic, whatever the solid waste is there, it gets decomposed in a very fast manner. Why? Because oxygen presence is there, so the degradation will be high. And anaerobic, it is a slow process, and here the carbon nitrogen ratio will be 10:1 to 20:1, and here in case of anaerobic, it is a nitrogen rich content. Okay, and here examples we can take of anaerobic composting, like grass cuttings, waste paper, left over food, animal slurries, etc. we can consider. Okay, and after the composting, whatever byproduct we are going to get in terms of aerobic composting is humus. It is used as a fertilizer. In terms of anaerobic, we get the biogas as a byproduct. Okay, so next they say is in case of aerobic decomposition or in case of aerobic composting, aerobic bacteria helps in degrading these organic matter, whereas in terms of anaerobic bacteria helps in degrading this particular organic matter. Okay, so what are the main organisms or microorganisms which are responsible in terms of composting are bacteria, actinobacteria, fungi, protozoa and rotifiers. So these are the 5 microorganisms responsible for an active composting. Bacteria is commonly seen in case of all kind of decomposition, and it is of 2 types. One is mesophilic and thermophilic. Mesophilic represents to the bacteria which live in moderate temperatures from 20 to 45 degrees Celsius, and thermophilic bacteria represents the bacteria which are going to live in higher temperatures like 45 to 122 degrees Celsius. And fungi are nothing but the molds or the yeast. Okay, they feed on the lignin content of the wood, lignin content of the wood material, so they decompose the wooden materials. Okay, and actinobacteria, they decompose the paper materials and all. Okay, so protozoa and rotifiers, they are feeding on these bacteria and fungi, so they eat that, thereby reduces everything, we can say. What are the main factors which are responsible for composting? Basically we need to know bacteria, whatever the microorganisms are there, even they are also mandatory for them to survive. The temperature and the pH has to be maintained, even the moisture content also. If it is too high, bacteria will die, so it has to be in a medium temperature. Even the pH has to be maintained, and even the moisture content and the aeration for decomposition and all, and carbon nitrogen ratio, nothing but the food for that particular bacteria also, and whatever the vigorous mixing and all. So these all factors they include in composting. And let's start with the important concepts of Bangalore and Indore method of composting. So in case of Bangalore and Indore method of composting, Bangalore method follows the anaerobic method of composting and Indore method follows aerobic kind of composting. So usually here in case of Bangalore method, they recycle the waste in terms of 4 to 6 months. Okay, in 4 to 6 months once they recycle the things. In case of indoor method, either by 2 to 4 weeks only they are gonna recycle it. Okay, and they take in a batch wise, like in first check for 1 week and the other second week they check for the other week, like whether the materials are decomposed well or not. And usually both have the similarities, like they both are sandwiched between the night soil layer by layer, and later it will be covered through what we can say MSW, that is nothing but the waste on it, so that water should not go and penetrate into it. And since it is anaerobic, see, we can see it is closed, and whereas indoor they are placing an air valve where through these pipelines the aeration will be processed, so that the whatever decomposition is there, it goes in a faster manner. So let's start along with that the mechanical composting. Usually mechanical composting has a flow chart. See here, the starting one is the mixed waste input. Through mixed waste input, it will be sent for mechanical sorting or pre-treatment. Okay, here in case of mechanical sorting or in case of pre-treatment, what is going to happen means they are going to identify the usable things and non-usable things. If it is usable, it will be sent to the recovery or recyclable unit. Okay, if it is not, then it will be directly rejected. Okay, and it will be sent to the landfill site. If it is usable for recovery thing, they will send that particular thing to biological treatment. Okay, and whereas in biological treatment it undergoes the decomposition in the formation of biogas and energy by anaerobic method, and we get the compost, okay, or the refuse or the humus in terms as a fertilizer, and it will be utilized for the agriculture fields. And usually this mechanical composting takes place in a small area, and it is very fast. Okay, since mechanical devices are utilized in it, so the process takes place in a fast manner and for composting and all. And the stabilization takes place for 3 to 6 days. Okay, in stabilization is nothing but the biological treatment, whatever is going to happen in it. It takes place for around 3 to 6 days, and usually operation involves the reception and refuse, that is the collection of the refuse and processing it, segregation in identifying the usable and non-usable thing, then shredding by making it in a smaller divisions or in a minute particles, then it will be sent for the biological treatment units, and then after we get the humus and all, it will be sent for the marketing thing. So next, it is the last concept of composting, that is the vermicomposting. As per the name only, we can say that vermicomposting represents to the worm composting. Nothing but here in this process, the worms are playing a main role in decomposing the organic waste. Okay, it has both the indoor and outdoor method, and it can be also followed up to a year. Okay, this methodology, and it is also suitable for even apartment dwellers or even household or in a smaller communities. They can follow up this treatment method. Okay, and how this particular compost is going to be obtained means usually in a container they fill with the moisture bedding, and they induce the red worms, and after their degradation we obtain the compost material. The main thing we have to know in this vermicomposting is what are the main factors which are responsible for vermicomposting. That is weight reduction during vermicomposting, temperature, moisture, pH, and electrical conductivity. As we know that since for whatever kind of decomposition it undergoes, we have to maintain these things. Okay, the temperature and all we got to know, moisture content also we got to know, and even pH has to be maintained, electrical connectivity also has to be maintained, and weight reduction is nothing but after decomposition how much the weight is going to be decreased, even that they consider a main point. And see, it is a basic, so these are the basic methods followed for vermicomposting. So let's start how the procedure is going to have. we have to consider either a small wooden box or we can dig a small pit where we have to place a net. Okay, then we have to spread 1 to 2 centimeter thick layer of the sand. Upon that we can place the kitchen waste like peels of the fruits, vegetables and all, and then we have to cover it with the sand. Okay, and then green leaves also can be placed for attraction, for the purpose of this thing. What we can say, these worms will get attracted towards the greenery things, and we can sprinkle some of the water so that that particular layer will become wet, moist. Okay, then when we place these red worms into it, they start decomposing it, as they like these green vegetable covers and all, they eat it. And after 3 to 4 weeks we can observe that the soil gets loosened. Okay, and then we can remove that particular material from the box, and then we can dry it in the sun. Then it will be utilized as a manure. So these are the pictorial representation of vermicompost. So you can see how the layer by layer they are going to place it. Okay, and thank you, and please do subscribe to my channel, and don't forget to like, comment and share. Okay, and to get updated, click on to that bell icon also for further notifications, and thank you.